What's up, college football fans? Welcome back to an all-new episode of the Cover 2 College Football Podcast. I'm your host, Tim Smithson, joined, as always, by my co-host, the Okie Longhorn himself, Dalt. As usual, first and foremost, how we doing tonight, buddy?
Doing well. Doing well. Just, you know, living the dream.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we're back. We missed a week last week. That's hand up accountability, my fault. I was not feeling real great the two nights that we had to possibly record last week. I will own that. But we're back this week, Dalt. We're gonna go ahead and recap the five games that we would have picked. We had our picks. Um, go ahead and kind of gloss over those games, and then we'll kind of get right into our week 4 preview. A lot of stuff going on around college football, Dalt. We've had some coaching firings just 3 weeks in. Who is it? Brent Pry
Yep.
and Deshaun Foster, UCLA and Virginia Tech. They are currently your two Power Four jobs that are on the market for a new coach. We had an epic Dabo Sweeney soundbite today in his press conference, where he essentially told Clemson that, I'm pretty much the best that's ever done it here, and if you want to try with somebody else, go ahead. I'll go win somewhere else. That is essentially what he said. But I guess without further ado, we'll get right into this recap. We were going to pick 5 games. The first one that we were going to pick was the Ole Miss Arkansas game, and one that I think we probably both would have agreed was kind of a little under the radar. I didn't really hear anybody talking about it last week, and really it ended up being a pretty good game. I think Arkansas they fought, but Ole Miss just kind of proved to be just a little too much. But they had a chance kind of in this game, but Ole Miss ends up winning here 41-35. They actually do not cover though. We both would have taken the Rebels at what it was at 8.5, and so Arkansas covers that. Um, did you watch any of this one, Dalt?
Yes. We went out to dinner Saturday night, and the bar had LSU, Florida, and Ole Miss, Arkansas in on TVs right beside each other. And let me tell you, after our sensational Arkansas following on TikTok, I now am going to hate watch them for the rest of the year.
The people they riled you up just enough. You're gonna give it everything you have to root against the Razorbacks, huh?
I am indeed.
Well, yeah, I don't have a ton on this one. I mean, honestly, I like I said,
Did
I think we both would have been on Ole Miss here. We kind of agree that Arkansas, it's just not a great situation. We touched on that obviously in our SEC preview, but I think you got to give them some credit here. I don't know that I don't know that the final score really indicated how close this game was, but I guess give Arkansas credit. They kept it close.
Well, I mean, Arkansas had the ball inside the red zone with a chance to go score a touchdown, take the lead, and they fumble it away. But they did tack on. Ole Miss goes up by 10 with 10 minutes left, or goes up by 13 with 10 minutes left. Arkansas gets a touchdown just under the 5-minute mark. Get the ball back, they're moving, and then essentially fumble it away on a bubble screen. Neither one of these defenses could play dead. Like this,
I
like
was just about to say that.
it is. You're looking at 526 yards for Arkansas, 381 for or 481 for Ole Miss. Both teams' leading rusher was the quarterback.
Yeah.
We knew Taylor Green was going to be everything and more for this Arkansas offense, and he's proving to do that. But apparently, and shocked as I am, the Arkansas defense is not very good. Shocker.
Who could have foreseen that tragedy?
Right. But in Ole Miss doesn't have their starting quarterback, which honestly I feel like this kid played better than the Simmons kid did in his first couple games. But at the end of the day, Ole Miss wins, but they don't cover. The late touchdown under the 5 minute mark ruins the plus. What was it, 8.5?
Yeah. Yeah, when I made the show notes, I kind of just went on what the lines opened at based on like when we would have recorded. I don't think that they would have been much different. Now some of them were different once they closed, but yeah, you talk about the defenses, and I mean you just looking at the box score in this one, like if you watch the first half of this game, you probably thought, wow, like its final score is going to be like 65-60 or something. I mean they scored uh, 21 and 24 points in the second quarter, both teams. But then you get into the second half, and I think Ole Miss only scored 10 and Arkansas scored 7. Uh, just not great. I mean, I don't I I don't know. Nobody's talking about Ole Miss, Dalt, and they're kind of that fringe top 10. Like, how good do we think? Have they been a little? I mean, they've not really been bad, but the defense doesn't seem great. I really don't think the offense is fired on all cylinders. And it's a team that has that they had a lot in last year as far as just guys that they had brought back, and so they're trying to kind of find their footing with a bunch of new guys and new spots, especially at quarterback with the Simmons kid. But um, I'm not sure about Ole Miss. I don't really know where they fit in. Nobody's really talking about them as far as the SEC goes. But I mean, they're a top 15 team, so
After this weekend, they won't.
fair enough.
Like it's like you can score as many points as you want to, but if your defense is giving up 526 yards to basically giving up 400 yards to one guy, you're in trouble
Yeah.
in this league.
Okay, so like I said, we'll move on. We both would have picked the Rebels in our picks, and so they actually do not cover. So we'll move on to what was our second game last week, Dalton. That was Georgia Tech. They defeat Clemson 24-21 at home. So you look at Clemson, they now are 1-2. This is a team, Dalt, that we both picked to go 12-0 and basically 13-0, winning the ACC. We thought that they would run through the ACC with how they finished last year, what they brought back, the coach that they have, and they've started 1-2. Now, granted, I think Georgia Tech's a pretty good team, and then you have that loss to LSU. That's obviously not a bad loss, but where is the offense for Clemson? It's just non-existent. I mean, Cade Klubnik has looked subpar at best, and they kind of fight tooth and nail, tie this game up, and Georgia Tech goes down the field at the end of the game. Kid just drills a 55-yard field goal. How
with
come?
leg,
I mean,
with leg, and it
I,
wasn't like a timeout. Right, let's talk about it. Deal. It was a 55-yarder in a clock running Chinese fire drill. Get your guys out there and kick this some bitch. Like
yeah,
wow.
yeah, it was impressive. And so we both were on Clemson here in our picks, and that was at -6.5. So they very obviously do not cover. Georgia Tech, they cover 6.5 and they win the game outright.
Who did you say we picked?
You took Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, you took Georgia Tech. So you this was a win for you. I'm sorry. I don't know why I said that. I took Clemson, obviously. And I don't want to discredit Georgia Tech and like not give them credit where credit's due, because this is obviously a great win for that program. Haynes King, man, just puts his body on the line week in, week out. Like, this guy doesn't have a future past college football, and I think he knows that. So like he just lays it all out there every Saturday. And Georgia Tech, I think they play hard nosed, kind of a fun brand of football that you know it works pretty well in the ACC, I think. And so you kind of look at their. I was listening to a podcast yesterday, and somebody was going through their schedule, and like it may be a while before they lose a game with their schedule. Like, granted, you never know if they might drop one, but the ACC, it's just so kind of meh. Like outside of like Miami, Florida State, and then what we thought Clemson. But give credit where credit's due to Georgia Tech. But Dal, where does Clemson go from here? We talked about Dabo and the comments that he's made this week, talking about winning the conference 8 of the last 10 years. Like, obviously, Clemson has been a power under him, but they've not won the national championship since what, 2018, that year with Trevor Lawrence when they beat Alabama. And, they made the playoff last year, get beat in what was an opening round game against your Texas Longhorns. I guess realistically, the ACC is not out of the question for Clemson, but if this team continues to show up, I don't know. I feel like Clemson's going to be one of those teams that nobody talks about now, Dalt, and we're going to look up and they're going to be like 9-2, and like waiting for somebody to lose, kind of like last year.
Yep.
Like, is that what's going to happen again?
Just right there, gonna end up in the ACC championship and end up probably upsetting Miami or Florida State in it.
Because if I remember correctly, I think the only team left on their schedule that's really, I mean, there may be some teams that could beat them, but like, which granted with this offense, maybe several, but I think the only other team that they play that's ranked currently is Florida State.
Yep, that's it.
So, well, I guess you got South Carolina, but they just fell out of the rankings, so don't know if they'll be ranked or not. So, yeah, we were split on this one. You took Georgia Tech. I think a lot of people were on Georgia Tech here to at least cover just because of how bad Clemson's looked, but I guess I kind of thought the worm would finally turn, and it did not. So this was a loss for me, off to a horrific start. But we'll move on, Dalt. Head over to the SEC. LSU defeated Florida on Saturday night in Death Valley. 20-10 was the final. Florida, this one was at 8.5, and we were both on LSU here, right?
Yes.
So we both missed on this one. Florida does cover.
No, they don't. 8.5. They lost by 10.
You're right. I don't know what I was thinking. LSU covers 8.5. I don't know what I was thinking. I can't do math. 20-10 in what was kind of a game that Florida Adult and DJ Lagway, they wanted to get beat much worse than they did, and LSU just could not quite do it. DJ Lagway threw 5 interceptions, one of which was a pick 6 that was essentially kind of the difference in the game outside of a field goal. I don't know what to think about Florida. I mean, everybody, and really LSU, both of these teams, neither one of these teams are really, to me, like LSU's obviously 3-0, so like you can't be too upset about it. But like the strength of their team is what nobody thought it would be. It's the defense, and the offense has been, granted, don't ask Brian Kelly about it, but the offense, the offense is not. It's not been great. They struggled against Clemson. Everybody kind of chalked that up to Clemson having an elite defense. They looked okay last week against, who was it, Louisiana Tech?
Louisiana Tech. And
then this week, they score, 13 points offensively, have the pick 6, and they just don't really seem to be clicking. But how much longer has Billy Napier got? Where are we at?
Well,
because that seat's got to be just scalding.
Let's just go over their next 1, 2, 3, 4. Their next 5 games. Let's just have a conversation about what this Florida team's looking forward to. This week they play Miami, who has looked spectacular. They get a bye week, and then Texas comes to town. Granted, that could be the most mid-off 5-star quarterback duel you'll ever see. Oh, and then right after playing that Texas team, you have to travel to the 12th man. Oh, you get Mississippi State at home, who has looked
pretty
better
good
than advertised. Oh, then you get to play Georgia. Like,
does Billy Napier make it to Georgia?
I don't think he makes it past Georgia. I think
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. If this team is 2-6 after Georgia, Florida will be hiring a new coach because it's not like the schedule gets easier after Georgia. You get to play Kentucky. Oh, and then you go to Ole Miss, Tennessee, Florida State. If we're being completely honest, this is looking, and it is very, very looking like a 3-9 season from
Yeah.
what we thought was going to be a
I,
9-3 season for this team,
I,
and that's
I was, I
bad.
was, I was just about to say, Dalt, getting to 4 is looking very difficult.
Yeah, it's granted the schedule's tough, but holy shit, you guys look bad right now.
Well, right, and it'd be one thing if, I mean, South Florida, they shouldn't have lost that game.
No,
Like you just shouldn't. So in the preseason, you're banking on those 2 wins, and then you're talking about Miami and the Florida State game. It's like if we can just split there, possibly win both, because I think we would have both agreed going into the year that we thought Florida was going to be better than both of those teams because we thought Miami was majorly overrated. And then, I was pretty high on Florida State, but you weren't. And with coming off the year that they had, like what really were the expectations? And now, I mean, once again, Dalt, the university, the flagship university in the state of Florida, they're kind of the laughing stock. Like they're probably going to go 0-3 against other teams from
in-state
Florida.
teams.
Like, it just is what it is. Like, I I definitely do not see them winning their next 3. So they're going to be 1-5 going into Mississippi State.
Yep.
And it's at home, but like you said, Mississippi State, I'm not going to dog on Jeff Lebby and crew. Like, they look better, but I mean, DJ Lagway throws 5 interceptions again. Like, I mean, at what point, Dalton, in that game, like, I know there's a lot of back and forth on when you should, maybe go to a different guy and it's like losing confidence and all that. But like, you throw 5 interceptions and you threw the ball 49 times. Like, at what point do you like stop throwing it or just sit the kid down for a couple of series and say, "Hey, man, just chill out for a minute. Like, you need to take a break. Just take a breath."
And it's not like the interceptions were anybody's fault of his own, or it
Yeah, he's
wasn't
thrown
like
into
the.
double and triple coverage.
That's what I was saying. Like, it's not like LSU players made spectacular plays. This guy is just forcing it.
It's bad.
And let's give credit to LSU's defense. LSU's defense is hair on fire, coming at you from all different directions. They are blitz LSU blitz.
Tell me,
It,
Dalton, how against a defense like that do you not utilize? Like, I'm not saying no, and DJ, a lot of people maybe assume that he's some kind of great runner, but like, he can run the football. Like, how do you not like, if you have a quarterback that has that ability against a defense like LSU that's extremely aggressive, loves to blitz, which granted I know they have Harold Perkins who's typically
that
spying the quarterback, but
that
like,
is exactly it right there.
I mean, at some point as an offensive coordinator, if a team's going to blitz you over and over again, like you got to figure something out.
Yeah.
Because it can't just continuously work. But nevertheless, LSU does cover the 8.5. They win this game by 10. And so we were both on LSU here, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we'll move on. Texas A&M, Dalt, they go to Notre Dame and defeat the Golden Domers 41-40. I know you're going to love talking to this one. Quite a game up in South Bend. Quite a game. They win this one at the last second. Notre Dame misses an extra point, correct? They drop the snap, miss the extra point, so they go up 6. Texas A&M drives the field. They get down they get goal to go, but it's from like what, the 15 plus, somewhere in there. Like, it wasn't really on the goal line.
Yeah, it was a ways out.
And Marcel Reed ends up completing a pass to the tight end who was blocking and makes a great catch. Uh, what some would call an egregious holding call was missed on that play.
Egregious.
Defensive
That's
player
a
from Notre Dame may or may not have gotten tackled by an offensive
that's
lineman.
a
But
that's a 2 point takedown in wrestling.
I mean, it wasn't called, so hey, didn't happen. But Texas A&M dealt. They win this game 41-40. In what if you liked offense, this was a good one to watch. What were your thoughts on this one? Seeing the arch rival get a big road win.
I mean, good for Texas A&M. It's going into this. I would pick Notre Dame because I guess I trust what I would have trusted Notre Dame's defense with Marcel Reed more so than I trusted Texas A&M's defense with uh, Love running the football. And for the most part, Marcel Reed didn't play great, but he played good when it mattered, I guess I should say. He had, I mean, he's 17 for 37 for 360 yards. He had the one interception, but for me, it's just at what point do you just wonder when these defenses that we thought were going to be really good make a stand against what we would assume were average offenses? Like, don't get
Yeah.
me wrong, we think Jeremiah Love's that's his name, right?
Yes.
We think he's the best running back in college football. But I mean, Texas A&M doesn't just have lightning, and you let a guy that, I mean, honestly, I hadn't heard of until Saturday night. The Cravers kid for Texas A&M go for how many yards? 200?
207. Yeah,
207.
207 and a touchdown.
7 catches for 207 yards. Like, that's unacceptable. Notre Dame's leading receiver was a tight end.
Had 85.
Jaden Greathouse, just non-existent. I don't know. This is a head scratcher for me because I did not expect this to be a 41-40 game.
Is Notre Dame cooked as far as the playoff
Yeah,
goes?
they're done.
I would have to say I would probably agree. They would need a lot of chaos, I would say. Because the best they can finish is 10-2. No conference championship game, obviously. But yeah, I do think that's the story of this game, Dalt, is the defenses. Both of these teams, Notre Dame, who obviously under Marcus Freeman has had a really good defense really since he's got there, and then you have Texas A&M and Mike Elko, who had success there as the DC before he went on to Duke, um, and now he's come back and he has took over play calling for the defense this year, and frankly, not just in this game, but Texas A&M's defense looks bad. Like they kind of look lost. Got guys overrunning plays, missing tackles. I think Elko was throwing a chair on the sideline out of frustration. Somebody was talking about that. I saw, and so yeah, I think the story of this game is obviously a great, fun, entertaining game to watch. But you just look at both of these teams and think, Notre Dame's probably out of it as far as the national championship race goes, and then A&M, that schedule just gets a little tougher. I mean, granted, they have a decently favorable schedule for the SEC, but you giving up 40 to a Notre Dame offense that we both probably would agree is a very run heavy, not explosive offense, and you still got to play a couple of teams that can probably throw it around a little bit better than them. I don't know, not a great recipe, but you were on no, I know I took Notre Dame here. Did you take
I took Notre Dame too. I
Yeah.
didn't think that Texas A&M
Okay,
would be
so
within the 10-point spread.
So I took Notre Dame. You took Notre Dame. A&M does cover 9.5. Obviously, they went outright, and so that was a loss for both of us, Dalton. That'll take us to what was our game of the week, and we'll get this one recapped and then get right into our preview. But Dalt, what was a absolute thriller in Knoxville down at Neyland Stadium? Georgia defeats Tennessee 44-41 in overtime. Um, Tennessee covers what we would have picked it at 6.5. I think this one closed around 3.5, but it opened around 6.5. So Tennessee does cover the spread. They kind of choked this one away.
Hundred
They
percent.
come out of the gates swinging. They go up what like 21-7, kind of in like the blink of an eye. You have Joey Aguilar's just throwing bombs to the what's
Brazzle.
his name, Brazzle kid. Like I mean, it was like D-Day in Neyland for Kirby Smart. Like it was not going well, but Georgia did what Georgia does. Dalt they kind of weather the storm, get back in the game. They're going into halftime, and it was kind of an uphill climb even in the second half, and they tie it up late on a big touchdown pass from Gunnar Stockton to the Humphreys kid. And then Tennessee, man, they get within range and just he pushed it wide right? I
Yes.
believe. Pushed it wide right from the left hash, goes into overtime. They hold Tennessee to a field goal. And then, of course, Georgia, they line up, run like 3 plays, score a touchdown. So I watched pretty much this game start to finish. What were your thoughts on this one? I mean, I think you look before you get into it, like there obviously was a loser, but I think both these pretty damn good football teams.
Yeah. I owe Tennessee fans an apology. The Aguilar kid is electric. He throws the hell out of the deep ball. Didn't think that he just played outstanding. You know, he had the 2 picks, but I don't. What are we doing on when we set our field goal try up? You have 7 seconds and a timeout. You're on the left hash, unless your kicker says, "Hey, I want to kick this on the left hash."
Right.
Put him in the middle.
Yeah, just run a play and run to the middle of the field and ball
Run
down.
yeah.
You're gonna
If
lose maybe a yard. Like
if yeah, he has plenty of leg. I believe he hit a bomb in the game earlier in the game.
yeah, he hit a 48 yarder.
Yeah.
And then he hit a
So I mean,
42 yarder in
in overtime.
overtime.
So, and I believe it was about the same distance that it was.
Yeah, it
So
was. Look here.
I don't, I don't know. I just think that Josh Heupel might have lost this one more than Georgia won this one, because Georgia Gunnar Stockton looked great. He played
43,
well.
43 yarder.
43
Sorry.
yarder, so same distance.
Yeah.
Threw for 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. I believe he had a rushing touchdown as well. Kind of what we thought Georgia was going to have to be was this kind of run it down your throat, but I don't know. I'm not sold on really either one of these teams. Like I Georgia won, and I might be a little bit more worried about them than I am Tennessee, because Tennessee was down both starting corners, and their defense hasn't been great all year. Georgia just gave up 41. Like, that should be a red flag, because a Georgia defense that, I mean, just is usually rock solid got lit up in this game. And if you're going to tell me that I have to expect Gunnar Stockton in these big games to play up to that potential every game, I get a little worried about that. But I mean, it's a good win for Kirby. I just think Josh Heupel let this one slip away. I did think that Tennessee was going to win this. That's why I picked them. But I don't know. I just feel like Josh Heupel might have got a little worried that his team was going to commit another false start, and he was like, "Screw it, let's just kick it."
Yeah.
I do feel bad for the Tennessee fan that they kept showing the heavier set guy.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh, that poor guy.
I was at dinner with Emily celebrating our anniversary Saturday night, so I was watching but not listening, obviously on my phone. And I kept seeing him pan to this random guy, and I'm like, what's going on here? Like, I need some context. But yeah, he looked like old boy was going through it, man.
Yeah, he
I
was.
mean, he probably had about 10
at,
beers. I mean, he's just struggling.
whenever he missed it, I literally thought, man, they're gonna pan to this guy, and he's gonna look like somebody just ripped his heart out of his chest. And sure enough, right on cue, it's just boom,
Uh,
Tennessee fan. He's just like,
Here we go again.
oh,
All right, Dalt. Well, that rounds out our what was our week 3 picks. I believe you went 3-2. I went 2-3. So our overall records now we're a 1 game difference. You are 7-8 after 3 weeks. I am 8-7. So if you're listening to this podcast and taking advice on betting,
don't.
probably just fade our picks. Like,
just
just gonna be honest. We do the best we can, people. Okay, we're not. This is, you don't have to pay for it. This is all free anyway. So, um, we'll get into our week 4 preview, Dalt. The what everybody wants to hear. We're moving on from week 3. We've been moved on. Had to talk about it. It's over. We're going to talk about another team that we did just talk about, though, Dalt, in our first game, and this is a what was once an SEC matchup. Tulane, they're going on the road to take on the 13th ranked Ole Miss Rebels. This game is in Oxford, and Mississippi Dalt, they come in here as an 11.5-point favorite. What do you think? Tulane 3-0, Ole Miss 3-0. You know, Tulane, they lose the Mensa kid to Duke, but they bring in the Retzloff kid from BYU uh, via the transfer portal. May not talk about why, but he's there.
oh, we're gonna
And
talk about why.
so, yeah, Ole Miss, 11.5-point favorite. Dalt, do you like the Green Wave here to cover, or is this maybe a trap?
I think it's a trap, and I think that this just kind of sets up for Ole Miss just to come out and hammer Tulane and
Yeah.
just like pitch a shutout after giving up so many yards on to Arkansas. But I like cheese. I'm gonna put my hand in the trap. Give me Jake. I don't need a ring. Retzlaff to lead this Tulane Green Wave to cover this 11.5 spread.
Okay. Well, I am not going to take the cheese. I'm going to go. I'm going to go Ole Miss here. I think they. I think it's close early. Maybe most of the first half. I think maybe you get a late cover from Ole Miss. Maybe a late score, mid to late fourth quarter, up maybe they're up 8 or 9 or whatever. Score another touchdown, go ahead and win this one by 15, 16 points, and they do cover. I will say, I don't know that you can definitively say who has the quarterback advantage in this game. I mean, I really like the Retzloff kid. He looked good at BYU, and he's been pretty good for Tulane so far. Um, and then, I just I don't
Who's
really
gonna
know.
play for Ole Miss? Is the Simmons kid gonna be back, or is it gonna be the Chambliss kid again?
Right. You don't really know. I haven't seen any news regarding that, but I I don't know. Like I said, I like Tulane. I just don't know that they can keep up. And so I'm gonna say Simmons plays and they win this one. They get a late cover. So I'm gonna take Ole Miss here at home. I like the Rebels, the Lane Train. BP will appreciate that pick. We'll move on, Dalt. Heading over to the Big Ten. The 21st ranked Michigan Wolverines are heading up to or over to Lincoln, Nebraska, take on the 3-0 Nebraska Cornhuskers, led by Matt Rule and Dylan Rayola. Michigan comes in here as a 2.5-point road favorite at Nebraska. What are your thoughts on this one, Dalt?
Neither one of these teams have just overly impressed me in their first 3 games. I know Michigan just hammered Central Michigan. They didn't look great against New Mexico, and they really didn't look great against OU, which OU has an elite defense, so you're not going to look just elite against them. Man, that Cincinnati game for Nebraska scares me in this. I know that they beat the snot out of Akron, they beat Houston Christian, but that's not the type of athlete that you're going to see in this game. And I'm really worried that Michigan's just going to lean on Nebraska. I have a real good feeling that we're going to get a lot of our lean picture in the group chat this weekend
Yeah.
at the 2:30 mark.
Yeah.
Um,
About 3:15 gonna roll around.
yeah, and when that it's going to be somebody's going to send the pick in the chat. But I like Michigan here. I think when it comes down to it, you just have the better running back and probably maybe the better defense with Michigan. No, although they're not great on defense, but they're good enough. I think you're kind of seeing that with the way this line is, them being road favorites at a place that's really tough to play. And I don't take that lightly with Bryce Underwood going in there and playing in a tough environment. But if they put the shackles on him again, Nebraska could win this. I think if they let him be himself, I think they got a better shot because I mean Cincinnati was had a chance and the quarterback just made a mistake, and that's something that I think you're going to have to kind of tell Bryce Underwood, like, hey, know when to take your chances and know when to pull it and run or throw it away and live to play another down. So I like Michigan. I think that they're just going to lean on this Nebraska defense.
Yeah, Nebraska being one of my playoff teams, team that I picked, who I probably would have said to win this game in the preseason with their schedule. I think I had talked about Dalt whenever this rolled around, how I thought it was a good thing for Nebraska that they were getting Michigan fairly early, and I do still think that that helps. Um, you look at Michigan's offense, and for me, like, if I'm Nebraska, I'm probably trying to adopt a lot of what Oklahoma did in that game, as far as just, hey, we're going to stop the run. And if you really want to trust Bryce Underwood and your guys at wide receiver, then just go ahead and try. And against Oklahoma, they didn't really try. They just didn't even really try. Would they have more confidence to try against Nebraska? Probably, I would think. But I don't love what Michigan has at wide receiver. I mean, I know they did a lot to get the McCulley kid out of the transfer portal back in the spring, but I feel like I'm trying to talk myself into Nebraska plus 2.5, and I just I can't. Like I think Michigan still has a really really good defense. Nebraska just hasn't. I mean, they didn't look great against Cincinnati, who that's a Power Four team now, has a pretty solid defense, pretty solid front seven with the Corleone kid anchoring that group. And Rayola, I don't know, man. He just leaves a little bit to be desired for me. Like some of his decision making, I I could just see Michigan getting a little bit of pressure on him, and maybe he makes a few mistakes, and I just don't love that offense. And I think Michigan more so than against Oklahoma is going to be able to lean more on the running game against Nebraska and have some success. And so I'm going Michigan here minus 2.5. I think they go in there. I think they win it outright by at least 3. If it was 3.5, I probably would take Nebraska because I could see this being a 3-point game. Um, Maybe like a 4-point game, Michigan scores a late touchdown or something. But at 2.5, I have to take the Wolverines. So I'm going to go Michigan minus 2.5. I'll give you Michigan minus 2.5 as well. We will move on, Dalt. We now have 3 more games to pick, all top 25 matchups. And the first one, we are going to Bloomington, Indiana, another Big Ten matchup. Um, it was kind of hard for me to pick what was going to be the game of the week, Dalt, between these because like this is the one that features the top 10 team, but like I don't know, kind of wanted to give love a little somewhere else. I don't know how good a game this is really going to be. I don't know, but we've got number 9 Illinois. They're going on the road to take on the 19th ranked Indiana Hoosiers. Kurt Signetti and the boys. And Indiana adult, they come in here as a 5.5 point home favorite. I know we talked a little bit about this one in the group chat, but I think you kind of like Indiana here in this spot.
I do. I like Indiana to win the game, but I like Illinois to cover. I think Indiana will win the game. I like the Mendoza kid at quarterback. I like both of these quarterbacks. Indiana kind of plugged in this Mendoza transfer from Cal, and he has been really, really good. They're almost identical in stats. 55 of 76, 708 yards. 56 of 78, 709 yards, 8 touchdowns, 9 touchdowns. Like these two teams are
I was about to
literally
say, yeah, they're very balanced,
cut
very,
and
very,
paste.
yeah.
Leading rusher, 222 yards for Illinois. Leading rusher for Indiana's 217. Leading receiver for Illinois, 289 yards. Leading receiver for Indiana, 299 yards. They're very even teams. I like that Indiana's at home. I kind of trust Signetti and that kind of offense that they run to more so control the game than what Illinois does with Luke Altmaier. But I like Illinois. I think they're a really good team. But I think Indiana's probably going to win this. But I think Illinois is going to cover. I don't see it being a touchdown spread.
Yeah, the 5.5's tough.
Yeah.
I'm kind of with you. I'm with you as far as who I'm picking, but I actually think Illinois is going to go in here and win this game. So I definitely think they're going to cover the 5.5, and I think they're going to win outright. I think they are a little better at quarterback. Personally, I like the Altmaier kid better than the Mendoza kid. I will say Indiana probably has the advantage at head coach, but I like both of these head coaches, Signetti and Brett Bielema. And you do have to give a little bit to Indiana being at home, but like, how tough is it to play at Indiana? Like, literally, the picture on ESPN's website of the stadium, it's not even full. Which, granted, it'll be full Saturday, but like, it'll be nice early season game up there in Indiana and Bloomington. The weather, I'm sure, will be. I think it shows 78 degrees at kickoff at 6:30. So you can't ask for a better atmosphere. But I don't know. I just think Illinois is just a better team. I think they're a little more physical. And I think kind of we talked about it with Michigan, Nebraska. I think they're going to lean on Indiana a little bit. And I think they may be a little better defensively. So I am going to go Illinois -5 or Illinois +5.5. I like the Fighting Illini to win the game outright. So, but I think it'll be a good game, really good game, good night game. We will move on, Dalt. That takes us back to the SEC. The 22nd ranked now Auburn Tigers going on the road to take on my 11th ranked Oklahoma Sooners. It is a homecoming for Jackson Arnold. Oklahoma comes in here as a 6.5 point home favorite. I think both of these teams are right about where you thought that they would be in the off season going into this game. Both are 4-0. You kind of had the questions surrounding both teams with Auburn in that week 1 game against Baylor. Oklahoma had the week 2 game against Michigan. I think most everybody liked them to win those games. They do win those games, so they come in here 3-0, 6.5. Dalt, who you like in this one?
What does Vegas know that I don't? I mean, literally, what does Vegas know that I don't? Because OU looks like they are just bred to stop what Auburn wants to do on offense. And I mean, to a T, bred. You're not going to run power on OU. You're not going to run quarterback power on OU. you have shown a very inept ability to throw the football down the field. And if we're being completely honest, it's not like Auburn's secondary has just been elite on the back end. I mean, Baylor carved them in week 1. And even they gave up 15 points to South Alabama. I like OU in this spot. I think OU is a really, really good team. I have my worries about the offensive line and the traditional run game, but I think in this one, this might have a little air raid to it. I think you try to run the football the best you can, and when it kind of doesn't work, you kind of let Mateer be the offense. You let him run, you let him sling it, you let him get it out of his hands quick, let him take his shots. I just think that the secondary for Auburn is where the weak link is. I think their defensive front's good, not great, but OU's offensive line in traditional run blocking has not been very good. But I like OU here minus the points. I'd like this at a bigger spread for OU because I think they're just tailored to stop what Auburn wants to do on offense.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm going to go ahead and take my Sooners here as well at 6.5. Kind of similar to the Michigan game, I could see this being a fairly close game, but I think they could win by 7 to 10 points. I I think the key for Oklahoma in this game is to, they're at home. It's not a night game, but it's 2:30, so it'll go into the evening. Obviously, the environment will be good, um, but I think they got to start quick, like they did against Michigan. Maybe get a 3 and out, and then go score on their first drive, or if they get the ball first, go score, set the tone. Um, but I tend to agree with you. OU's not just thrown it all over the place offensively. I mean, they have, but they haven't. Like, as far as what Baylor did to Auburn, but I do think you have a lot of questions in the Auburn back end of their defense. I do think the front seven is pretty, good to really good. But I think that there is, I tend to agree with you. You talk about Oklahoma's defense, and what most people talk about is the secondary hasn't really been tested. And so, kind of to me, the storyline of this game is, will Hugh Freeze and Auburn trust Jackson Arnold to essentially maybe try and throw it around and test this Oklahoma secondary? I think OU secondary is good. They've gotten really good play out of their guys. It's just they haven't really faced a team that has had the ability to truly test them. And you have, Cam Coleman and Eric Singleton coming in here, maybe one of the better 1-2 punches in the country at wide receiver. However, what's the game going to be like for Jackson Arnold? Again, are they even going to trust him to make those throws? Is he going to try? I have to imagine that they're going to at least try, and you don't know how it's going to go. Um, I think it's a really tough spot for him as a player. It's a place that he obviously wanted to be and had committed to early in high school. Things just didn't work out. Wasn't really his fault. I mean, a little his fault, but not entirely. He didn't get the greatest, didn't get set up for success. And there's no ill will, I don't think. You've heard some of the players on both sides talk this week, coaches. Um, there's, I'll just say, like, I would be shocked if he got booed Saturday. Like, I just don't think that there's really that feeling from the Oklahoma fans. But I mean, hey, to me, if you're playing for the other team, you can get booed no matter who you are. It's justified in my opinion. And he just so happened to play there last year. So I just think that that's kind of the story of this game is, the Oklahoma secondary and Hugh Freeze and Jackson Arnold, and will he trust him to try and make some throws? And I think if he does and Auburn can do that, I think they have a chance to win this game. But I think the key for Auburn would be to start strong and quick. And I don't know, like I would imagine if they continue to run what they've done against these three teams that they've played, you're kind of right. I think it plays right into Oklahoma's hands. Like you're just not gonna probably have a lot of success. Like OU's front seven has been really damn good. Granted, they did play Michigan, who is good up front and runs the ball well, but outside of that, the competition's not been great. But I just don't see Auburn having a ton of success doing that. But who knows? But I'm going to take Oklahoma minus 6.5 in this one as well. Should be a really fun game out in Norman. And with that, Dol, we're going to head over to the Big 12 for our game of the week. This is a top 20 matchup. Again, like I said, didn't take our top 10 team that was playing in our game of the week, but I just kind of wanted to show the Big 12 a little bit of love because they probably need it. But the 17th ranked Texas Tech Red Raiders are making a pretty hefty flight out to Utah. I don't know why I'm blanking on the Salt Lake. Yeah, Salt Lake City. They're heading out to Salt Lake City to take on the 16th ranked Utah Utes. And Utah comes in here, Dalt, as a 3.5-point home favorite. And honestly, I think it's pretty safe to say, Dalt, that this is a game between what many would say, and I think we'd probably agree right now, the two best teams in this conference. You're like probably looking at your playoff front runners for the Big 12. What do you make of this one?
It's not a good week to be a Texas fan. I had to talk about Texas A&M getting a big win. I had to pick Oklahoma. Now you're going to make me pick Texas Tech.
Taking the Red Raiders.
Welcome to the Fox Big 10 a.m. kickoff.
Oh, it's worse next week.
Oh, are they on the East Coast, on the West Coast next week?
USC, 9 o'clock.
Oh, God. What? How freaking terrible is Fox?
It's bad.
That's terrible.
Yeah, it's bad.
So, yeah, thank goodness for our ESPN TV deal. No, Texas Tech's looked great this year. The offense is rolling. The defense has been good, not great, but it's been really good for who they played. I worry about the Utah quarterback. I know they're at home, but if I had to trust quarterbacks in this, I'm going to trust Texas Tech's Baron Morton. And I don't know. I think Texas Tech's really good on offense, kind of back the way they were in the 2000s. But yeah, I'm just leaning with the better offense here. I think this could potentially be a shootout, but I also think that it could very well get out of hand in a hurry for Utah if they don't figure it out on defense. Or if they don't figure out a way to slow down this Tech offense.
Okay. I disagree. I like Utah at home. Think they have the better coach. I really like what the Dampier kid has done at quarterback. And I think, you still have that same old Utah kind of hard-nosed defensive team, and I think they've kind of figured something out offensively at quarterback with him. I mean, granted, it hasn't just been a clinic by any, stretch of the imagination, but, he's been good thus far. And I don't know, the hook does scare me because I could see this being a 3-point game. But I don't know. Something about it. I like Utah. Maybe down 3, late touchdown, win by 4, something like that. A backdoor cover and a win. So I'm looking here. The Dampier kid leads them in rushing yards as well. So that's not ideal, but they're outscoring opponents 45-8. And again, it's so hard to pick these early season games like this, Dalt, because you just really don't have most of the time. A lot of these teams are they're playing more high profile games now that you have the 12-team playoff. But Texas Tech and Utah, they've really not played anybody. So like you just don't know really how good they are. So I think you're going to find out a lot about both of these teams. And I think when you look at it from with a wide scope, like the winner of this game really sets themselves up for success going forward. And I think, in the preseason, we would have, we didn't really talk much about Utah in the Big 12 preview because we didn't really know what the Dampier kid was going to look like at quarterback. And that was kind of our big question. Like they finally, we kind of finally are moving on from the Cam Rising, like, which granted, I know he didn't play last year, but like he's finally like gone, like it feels like something new finally. And I just have been impressed with what I've seen from him. And with it being at home, tough place to play. It's a little bit of a different setting for Texas Tech, something they're not used to, high up in the mountains with the elevation and all that. Early morning. I just like Utah in this one to cover the 3.5. So I'm going to take the Utes. And with that, Dalt, I'll recap our picks real quick, and then we'll get into super dogs and bold predictions, and we will get out of here. Real quick, Tulane at Ole Miss. You like Tulane plus 11.5. I'm taking the Rebels at minus 11.5. 21st ranked Michigan at Nebraska. We both like the Wolverines here at minus 2.5. Illinois at Indiana. We both like the Fighting Illini at plus 5.5. Auburn at Oklahoma. We both like Oklahoma minus 6.5. And then Texas Tech at Utah. We are split on. You like the Red Raiders at plus 3.5, winning this one outright. And I am taking the Utah Utes minus 3.5. So with that, Dalt, I'll throw it back to you. Do you have a super dog for week
I
4?
do have a super dog.
I feel like I know where you're going with this, and it might be the same as me. And if it is, I'm not changing mine.
What? How big is your spread?
It's not that big. Both of the teams are orange.
Oh, you're taking Sam Houston against Texas.
No,
No,
No.
that's probably where I should go, but I am in straight hate mode.
Okay, we're not
Straight
good. Okay,
hate mode. Give me Memphis to beat Arkansas this weekend. Go Tigers.
That going to be your bold prediction as well?
Go
You're just going to double
Tigers. Just doubling down. Go Tigers.
Okay, I don't hate it. I'm going to go. Let me find the spread again real quick. I think it was 17.5, but let me just double check that. But it's Syracuse at Clemson, and maybe this is a trap type situation, probably.
Taking the cheese.
But 17.5 Clemson, 17.5 point favorites. Syracuse 2-1. They've not looked bad. Fran Brown running his players after games. I thought that offense looked a lot better than Clemson's offense against Tennessee. Now we really don't know how good Tennessee's defense is. Arkansas is only a 7.5 point favorite over Memphis. Wow, I just saw that. But yeah, I think Syracuse. I don't think they'll win the game, but I think they keep it close. So I'll go with the orange at plus 17.5. And are you sticking with that bold prediction, or do you have another one?
I have another bold prediction, and this one might be the boldest prediction of all time. Arch Manning plays really well this weekend against Sam Houston State.
Oh man, desperation has set in. Listeners, Dalton is going through it after 3 weeks of bad offense. It's been hard.
Thank God the defense is elite.
Okay, well, I would argue my bold prediction is much bolder. I'm going to say the University of Florida Gators defeat Miami in Coral Gables. It is a bold prediction before you lunatic people come at me and try to, take me for what I'm worth and tell me how stupid I am. Bold prediction. If it wasn't bold, wouldn't be any fun. Florida beats Miami at the buzzer. Give me the Gators. That's my bold prediction. So with that, Dalt, that's our week 3 kind of cleanup recap and our week 4 preview. It's not just a stellar weekend, but we've got 3 top 25 matchups, some unbeaten teams playing, unbeaten teams, one ranked. Like we've got some good games this weekend. It should should be a pretty solid weekend of football. So I'm looking forward to it. Um, and I guess with that, we'll just kind of get right into it. I mean, I you got anything else?
No, sir.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys back here next week, and we're out.
Don't forget to cover the flats.